Welcome to this 001 Game Creator video tutorial. I'm Jason, and in this video I'll be showing you how to set up a RPG quest. Now before we get into building the quest, I want to show you my notes I'll be using right off screen. They'll be helping along throughout the tutorial. These are just some items that I've already wrote down that I'm going to need. They'll be off screen, so I'll just copy and paste them in. So right here I've got all the dialogue that I'm going to be using, so I don't have to actually type it in real time. It tells me over here on the left when I'm going to use the dialogue, whether it's a variable or a certain step in the quest. And then here's who's actually going to be talking it, or speaking it more likely. And then here's the actual quest. This is pretty standard setup for how you do a quest. You have just steps and you increment through it. You have 10, 20, 30 depending on where you are in the quest. And this lets the game know where you are so far down the road on this particular quest. The one we're going to be doing is called Ned's Knife Quest. The quest giver is going to ask for you to get a dagger from someone who stole it from him. The first step is to go pick up a key, which is from his neighbor. Not real hard, he'll just hand it to you. Then you have to unlock the rock quarry where the thief hides, confront the thief, defeat him, and then take the knife back. So pretty simple, straightforward. And one item I want to talk about is tables. If you've never dealt with tables inside of 001, really all they are is just like a spreadsheet, almost the exact same thing. You have an X component which goes from left to right, and you have the Y which is the down. So what I have here is what I'm going to be doing in the game. You see the first column here, this would be 1-1 on the table, is going to be the ID of the quest, where you are in this particular quest, and the second one's going to be a log entry. So every time you do something in the quest, this is going to pop up at the bottom of the screen, and this will update as you go. So each step you'll get a little text feedback at the bottom of the screen let you know what to do next. Now it's pretty much of abuse of a table because this is really only 2 cells. You can do this with variables, but what I'm doing here is setting it up for if I ever expanded it, I could have hundreds of quests in this log, and you could reference those at any time and at any point in the game. So there could actually be more cells across, across the X, and you could have multiple increments or versions of quest open. You could have 5 quests active at a time, and you just list them here in a table and easily access it anytime you need it. So that's that. I just want to give you an idea because I'm going to be using a table a lot in this, so I just wanted you to know what was going on behind the scenes. So we're going to step right into the game maker. Here we are. I have a map already set up. We'll zoom out a little bit here so we can see. Actors and plays. Pretty much everything's here that I need except for just a few zones. So here's the main character, Ned, who's going to be giving you the quest. He will ask you to go get his dagger, so that's where we're going to go visit first. Then we're going to go over here to Red. This guy here is the one who gives you the key, so very little interaction. He just hands you the key, no fuss. And we have one door. This is where you have to unlock this door. And then finally our last actor is the thief up here, who's Lug. And he is going to be the one fight you have. You have to fight him to get the dagger. Sorry, I'm not going to make it complex where you can talk him out of it. You're going to have to go in there swords blazing and take him out. Now there is one branch to this, so you don't have to go to the gate if you don't want to deal with it. Say the key was harder to find or you knew an alternate route. What I've done just to kind of signify that is these little checkerboards over here. I don't have a grate symbol, so these are supposed to be grates in this wall. That's all I had at the time. So there's going to be zones on these. If you figure out how to get through, then you can bypass the gate down here and just go straight in and attack him. So let's get into actually building it. First thing I need is some variables. So we're going to roll down here to the variables. And I'm not a big fan of global variables, but we're going to have one in here. I tend to kind of stay away from them because to me it feels a little cluttered. But the variable we're going to use is called grate open. This is going to let us know if someone's actually opened the grate so that you can pass through it from then on, so you don't have to sit there and keep opening it up. So that's all that is. That's my only variable, my only global variable. And then we go into the tables here, and I need one table, and this one's going to be called quest log. And quest log is, like I showed you on the spreadsheet, it's going to track where we're at in our quest. Alright, so next we have one custom script I'm going to use for this. If you haven't done custom scripts, they are fabulous. You can pretty much build all the functions you need and then plug them in the game wherever you need them. So the custom I'm going to be using this one is called dialogue, and this is where I'm going to contain all my dialogue for the game. A lot of people, I'm just going to shoot over to the map real quick here. A lot of folks will probably click on an actor, and then on this talk to activate, they would put all their dialogue in here. And you didn't see that. Obviously I was playing with this earlier. But they would put all their dialogue in here, and then each time you have to go and edit anything, you're going to have to go back in and find each actor, edit that, and then back out. And if there's multiple edits, you're going to have to jump character to character. So I like to have all mine in one place, which is in this custom event. And I need one perimeter to jump in here. I have to know who is the person talking. So we're going to add one event, or I'm sorry, one perimeter. And it's going to be called actor_ID. So this is just going to, whenever you call this, you're going to feed in the name of the person who's calling it, so it knows who to go to's, or excuse me, whose script to go to fire off their dialogue. All right, we're going to step into it to edit script, and in here we're going to have a couple of comparison branches. So over here on the right, you'll see that I have already pre-mapped out all the scripts I'm going to be using in this. This is the same thing as going to expanded events, and you have all these events over here. Well, just for this tutorial, versus watching me go to the actors and scroll through 50 or whatever events there are in here, I just went ahead and shortcutted them over here on the right so I can grab them a lot quicker. So the first thing I need to do is pull up my comparison branch. Comparison branch is going to use that perimeter that we filled with the actor's name. So we're going to say, is the actor equal to, we're going to go find our actor. Here's all those different things we'd have to search through if I didn't have shortcuts. Scripting ID, we got to go to the map so we can pull up their names, and here's Ned. So our first person we're going to talk to is Ned. It's going to see if it's him talking. Now, I like subscripts, so the next thing that's going to happen is, if it is Ned, it's going to go to this subscript. It's going to go to this subscript. I'm not going to do that right yet. We're just going to save it, and we have pretty much what we need there for Ned. So what we're going to do is we need these 3 more times, or 2 more times. So there's 2 more. Nope. Helps if I only grab the ones I want. Connect the nodes. So there. Now we're all set up. I just need to fix what we're looking at in here. So we don't want to look at Ned. We want Red. And this one we want to be Lug. There we go. So now, depending on what that perimeter that feeds into this is, it's going to go either Ned, Red, or Lug. Now, just for a little clarity in the future, I'm going to alt-click on these. I'm going to tell myself what the heck is going on in this one. So there's Ned's, this is Red's dialogue, and this is Lug's. So it just gives me a little, not plus Lug. This just gives us a little heads up on who we're dealing with at the time. So the first conversation or dialogue we're going to do is Ned's. We'll step in here. Now, just to work with this quest, I'm going to use a multi-comparison branch. And what we do in here is I need to come up with some sort of formula to look at. So basically we're going to look at that table. We need to look at the table and see what's currently in the quest. And so this is right. 1-1 is the position we want to look at. And we're going to have several values here. We're going to have 0, 50, and 999. 0 means no quest has started. This quest hasn't been fired yet. 50 for this character means that the quest is completed, so this is what he says when it's done. 999 means the quest is over, so that means no more. This is what he's going to say after you're done with the quest. And then you'll see when I get done, there's actually 4 little spigots here, 4 outputs. And this 4th one I'm going to cheat and use as my, it's not over, but it's not finished yet. So you'll see what I mean here when I start actually laying these down. All right, hang on a second. All right, so the first thing we need is a message block. And let me go over to my little cheat sheet here, and I'm going to grab the current message I need. So this is the, all right, I don't know who you are, but just happens to be I have a need for you. So here's what he asked for you to go on his quest. Ned says, hey, I need help. And of course, the way it's set up now, you don't get a choice. You have to go on the quest. It's just the way life is, I guess, in this world. Or you're just that nice of a guy. So what this is, I'm doing an editing element of the table, and I'm incrementing the quest to 10. So now everything following this will know that you are on the quest and you're in step 10. And we need one more because we need to update our dialog that pops up the bottom of the screen. So in the second cell of the table, it's going to pop up the bottom of the screen. It's going to say go to red and pick up the key from the rock quarry. It's just a little heads up. I just want to show it's kind of like a quest log. I guess yeah, I should say quest log, just to let you know what you're supposed to be doing next in case you weren't really paying attention. Now, to get that on the screen, we need to use this display log text. And I could just paste that text in here, but for the purposes of showing how the table works, I'm going to call up that second cell that has the dialogue in it. So now, whenever you get spoken to, this is going to increment your quest, update the quest log, and then print it on the screen. Move that over. Alright, so that's done. That's all we need there. Now this next one is you've completed the quest. So we're going to go to message. Let me go find my dialogue for completion. Yay, you got it. Good job. So he's going to say that. My knife, not my wife. That'd been interesting. And then you get your reward. So we're going to add some money. We're just going to give you 100 coins of whatever value they are. And then we're going to update the quest. And now, since it's complete, you're going to have your 999. And this just says, no more quest, stop it, it's over. And then we got to do our, let's see, we're not going to have a quest log pop up this time. It's just going to say quest complete. So I'm not actually going to change that table because we'll never ever use it again. Alright. So we'll go back up here. Every time I click on this, that means when I add something, it's going to go to the next output. Alright, so the next thing we need is the message block here. And this is you've completed the quest and you bug him later. So you've completed it. This is what he's going to say. I have nothing more for you. Basically, leave me alone. So that goes right there. And then finally, we have one more to add on here. This is going to be you're on your quest, but you haven't retrieved the knife yet. He's going to say, see me once you have the knife. In other words, whatever you're supposed to be doing, you haven't done it yet. That's all there is for that one. Everything's done. So, gives quest, completed quest, get your items. Following the quest, here's what he says to you. And then finally, during the quest, this is what he says. Alright, let's jump over to red. Now his is just about as complex, but now that I got most of it out of the way, we should be able to fly through it. So we need another multi-branch. I'm going to throw in there, look at our table, same position, that's fine. And then pretty much the same exact things. We need a 0, we're going to use a 10 on this one because now you have the quest, and then the 999 means you completed it. So he's going to have some dialogue, so if you've never spoken to Ned yet, he doesn't know what the quest is, so he has a generic statement he says to you. So let me go over here to red. And he's just going to say, howdy. Doesn't know who you are. He's just being cordial. Next dialogue is, okay, you have the quest from Ned. And so he says, well, here's the key. No fuss. You don't have to bargain with him. He's just going to hand it to you. Now, what we need to do now is have him actually hand you the key. So we're going to go to add item. That's fine. We want to this main, and then I have made up, pretend that worked like it was supposed to. Go all the way over to the right where I've already made up this one called quarry key, and then we're going to add it. You're not actually going to do anything with the key. It's just that if it sees this key in your inventory, when you hit the gate, it's going to open. That's all there is to it. All right, now we need to update our quest because we've gone to our next step. So now we're on 20. Update the dialogue. And I need to jump over to the other screen and find it. Unlock the gate is our next step. So that's what we're going to put in here. That goes into block 2. And then finally, we need to show what you're supposed to do next down here. So this is where we go to our table, quest log 2. Alright, next is our quest is over. I'm going to move these over so I have room. Next is the quest is over, so this is what he's going to say to you after the quest. And he says, "You're such a good sport for getting it back. Good job." And finally, we have our during the quest dialogue. And all he says is, "Good luck. Not going to help you. Hope you get it." There we go. There's Red. And finally, we have Lug over here, which is going to be much simpler. This one, we're just going to use a comparison branch. And on this one, we just need to see where you are in the quest. So, need to look at quest log 111. That's good. And then we need to, hang on, let me make sure I set this up right. And we're basically, it's just going to say, is it 0 or not 0? Because there's only two modes. Either you have the quest or you don't. And if you have the quest, he's going to attack you. So if you don't have the quest, which would be 0, all he's going to do, let me find it. He's going to show you what a charmer is and say, "What do you want, punk?" What a charmer. Can't wait for him to die. Alright, and then if you do have the quest, he basically taunts you and says, "If you want the knife, come get it." And what I've done is so that he won't attack you before you have the quest, is I've made him on your team. He's a good guy. Just so he doesn't engage you, come chasing after you. But what we do is when you speak to him, starting map, Lug, he goes from good to bad. Now, as soon as he goes bad, he's going to come out swinging. There we go. That's all there is for Lug. So, go back in here. Doesn't know what you want, so he just taunts you. He knows what you want, and you go into combat because he's now a bad guy. Alright, pretty simple. That's all it is for the dialogue. Next step is we're going to get over to the map. And I have a couple things that needs to go on prior to you getting into the actual game with your character. So I'm going to go to properties up here. We're going to go to player enters. Now this might not be the best place to do this, but this is where I'm going to do it just for this demo. And what I need to do is first, your guy needs a weapon. So I'm going to give main a weapon. And how about, how to spell it, sword. And we'll add it first. So this means that this main is going to get a weapon type sword, and it's going to be added to him. So what happens is if he appears, he's going to have a sword in his hand. If he does that, the world will be good. Alright, next thing we need to do is set up our table. We have to initialize it. And right now it's basically a 0 by 0 table as far as the game's concerned. It has no space in it. So what we're going to do is make sure it has enough room to hold our quest. We're going to need 2 columns, which is on the X. Remember I said left to right. And Y, this could be whatever, how many quests you expect to have in your game. If I had 100, I'd have 100 quests. I only have the 1, so I'm just going to leave it 1. There's no sense having it already described as being that big. We'll just save a little room. Excuse me. Alright, so there we go. There's our table. Now, as soon as your player gets into the game here, he should be armed and the table's ready to go. So next thing we need to do, and I might have forgot to erase the scripts, but I'll have to do some editing here, is let's assign some dialogue to our actors in here. So I'm going to go into Ned. On his talk to, oh good. See, I remember to get that one. We're going to assign this dialogue to Ned. Now when it pops up, it wants to know who's talking, the actor ID. So that's really easy. We just go into the actor, double click, scripting ID, and we want Ned. So it's going to feed into my custom script, Ned is talking. So every time you click on him, it's going to look at that custom table. That's all he needs. We're going to move over to Red, and same thing. Go to dialogue, Red, and if the names aren't showing up, you can just click on Start Map. And wherever map these characters are located, you just click on that. So Red's the talker. And finally, we have this guy. Oh. Got a little sidetracked. Dialog. Start map. Lug. And just for sanity's sake, I'm going to go back here and change this to the same thing as the others. I'm just going to do the start map just so they all have the same scripting. So if it jacks up, I know they're all jacked up the same. Excuse me. So there we go. All assigned. The next thing we need to do is add in Lug's death scene, because when he dies, he has to provide you a dagger. So what he needs to do is, we got this killed, destroyed. When he dies, he's going to be a nice old chap and hand over the dagger. So we're going to edit it. Go in here, he needs a message box. And, well, he's not going to talk, but it's basically just going to be, let's see, and this would be the one thing I didn't pre-script out, so you're going to have to watch me type it. Sorry about this. Lug lays slain at your feet. You find a dagger on him. Good enough. Get the idea. So you kill him, you find dagger. So we need to add that dagger to your character. So same thing, main. We're going to go to, do I have a special one? Nope, it's just going to be a dagger. Or it's knife, I believe is what it's called in here. Add one knife to your character. That's just for housekeeping. The way the scripts are set up, you don't have to worry about it because the table's taking care of it, but just to, you could actually go and throw the knife away the way I have this set up. But for this, let's just pretend like I have all my air checking taken care of. Alright, so you've completed the quest, so this means you need, well, not necessarily completed, but you've got the item, and according to this means we need to take it back to Ned, which is step 50. The dialogue that appears is going to be take the knife back to Ned. Not zero take. Oh, there we go. That goes in block 2. Alright, so we have that. And then one final thing is we need to put that little message at the bottom. Quest log 2. Hopefully I don't forget to change that to 2 or have some interesting quest logs. That's all there is to that. He dies, you get the dagger, update the quest, and then your dialogue. There, that's all good. And we need to set up our gate. Go to door, and we're going to do on start door start opening. Started opening. And in this one, it's going to basically look in your collection that's being kept on your character and see if you have the key or not. And the way we're going to do this with this collection contains branch. We're going to add it. The collection is one that's already built. It's called your inventory collection in the actor here. We're going to use that for the main. We want to see if the main has it. And what we're going to look for is if he has this item, and the scripting ID is going to be all the way over here, Corey key. If you have a Corey key in your inventory, then this is what happens. Okay, so this is true, this is false on the right. So let's do the true. It's just going to say, let me find my dialogue here. Gate, you have unlocked the gate is what's going to go in here. I know it's kind of obvious, but I had to find it in my sheet. And so we got to update our quest as always. And that would put us on step 30. Oops, 30, which means we have to confront old boy Lug, which should be our next statement. It's going to say, go fight Lug. Did that appear right? Sometimes it shifts to the right. Yeah, it's all there. And of course, we can't get along without our display log text element. And here's our quest log number 2. Now, if you don't have a key, this is what it's going to tell you. No, oops, my mistake. First thing I want to do is make sure the door does not open. So, starting map, we want to make sure it's the gate, I already have it named, is 0. This means it's not going to swing one way or the other. That's what the minus or positive is. If you say 0, the door just stays shut. So door won't open, and then you get this lovely little statement saying, I don't know why I have to find it. Basically, it says, you'll need a key. That's it. Gate's all good. So now when you try to get to the gate, if you don't have the key, it will not open. Of course, the downside is if you ever lose the key, you'll never get through it. But once again, we're not doing a lot of air checking. I'm just trying to show you the basics here. And the final thing is here's our little branch over here. This is the don't want to go through the gate. You're going to go through here. So if you, for some reason, lose the key, you can still get in. And we're going to do that through zones. I'm going to put a zone there. I'll call this, oops, outside grate. Put a zone on the inside. Inside grate. And then we need one more zone over here at this table. This is going to be the workbench. I like to label everything because it keeps everything nice and neat, and you get this nice little list on the left that shows you where everything is. Okay, so first thing on this workbench, we're going to jump in here. And you're going to, if you're beside the zone and you click on it, this is what happens. So you find the workbench, and if your player is nice enough to go find, click on this area, he's going to get a little reward for it. And we're going to use this once branch. You only get it one time. And so we're going to add an item to the main. Go all the way over. I made this wooden mallet. It's a special item so that it'll detect it. It's the only one in the game. And then it's also going to give you a little text feedback here. And it's going to say, let me find the workbench. It's going to say you found a hammer. You're going to need that hammer to get to the grate. It pops the pin out. I know you could probably use your sword, and let's not get too specific here. So on this other one, it really is all going to say is you find nothing. Spelled right. You find nothing of value means you've already got the mallet. Quit clicking here, and that's all it's going to say forever and ever from then on. That's all there. So now we got to do our scripting to get through this grate. Okay, this one's going to be a little convoluted because we have to check to see if the grate's open, or if it's if it's been opened, or if you have the mallet. If you don't have the mallet, then it has to go through the whole. You don't have the mallet, something's up. All right, let's go into the zone and begin untangling this. First thing we're going to do is see if you've already opened this. So this is where I'm going to use that global variable I made called grate open. If it's equal to 0, that means it's not open. 1 is true, it's open. So right now, if you don't have the mallet and it's not open, if it's not open, it's going to go down to 0. So the next thing we need to do is, do you have the mallet in your inventory? So we're going to go up to the actor inventory of the main in this collection branch, and now we're going to look to see if he's holding on to the wooden mallet. So scripting ID for item and wooden mallet. Alright, so now we're checking to see, okay, it's not open, so does he have a mallet? If you don't have the mallet, basically it's going to give you a little hint on how to get through. It's going to say this grate allows water under, but it seems to be rusted shut, and there's a pin that you can't seem to get free. And it's actually on the wrong output. I'm going to move this over here because that's false. You know, this means you can't get into the, you don't have the hammer, so this is the false out. So the next thing we need to do is whack open this grate if you do have a mallet. Add our text. It says you whack it open with the hammer, and then now you can crawl through. We're going to move that over here because it's in kind of in the same food chain as the grate's already open. Except you're just going to have to you have to do this one step first when you open it. Now we need to update that variable to let global grate know, or I'm sorry, the global grate open know that it's open. So there, from now on, now it's set to open. So we'll bypass this and go to this next step. And we're just going to give you a little choice. We're not going to force you to go through. It's going to say, do you wish to crawl through the grate? So okay, you've opened it. Now do you want to crawl through? This just gives you a chance to say, no, I don't want to. Here we're going to have our yes. Sorry, my son has decided it's a good time to play with the Legos behind me. Yes, no. Alright. So if you wish to go through the grate, we're going to go down this pipe. If you don't want to go through the grate, then it just drops out of the conversation. So we're going to say the actor does want to go through, the main character. So we're going to use this position character, main, on start map, click on the map down here, and we want him to be here. This is where we're clicking, and he'll appear over here on the other side. And yes, we want to change his direction to make it make sense. He's facing to the west. All right, that's done. Next thing we need to do is make sure to see if you've ever gone through this grate again before. We're just going to go to comparison branch. And we're just going to do a quick little check here to see have you ever gone through this grate. So if you have gone through, it's going to be 40 because that's the step we were on if you go through the grate. So if it is 40, it knows not to update your quest. If it and then we have to have one more, because if it's not equal to 40, well, there's one other option. It could be 999, means you've completed the quest. So we're going to change it to that. Technically you also get the 50, means you have to go back, but that's enough for now, just to give you some error checking. So basically, have you been through this grate before? This one is, have you completed the quest? I'm already seeing an issue with this, but I'm not going to get into it and try to rewire it while I'm programming here. So move on ahead. This means you haven't done this before, so we're going to update your quest. Make sure it's 40. And the next one is your quest log, and it's going to be that go beat up the thief thing, so copy that in there. Alright, go find the thief, and of course, as always, need to display that text to let the player know that something's changed in the quest. And of course, this also grabbed the wrong spigot. We want that one, because we're saying not. This right one is not equal, and it's not 999, so it means it means you're not doing either one of these two. Alright, that's all there is to that one. It's kind of complex. That's probably the most complex one we have here. There are some errors here, but on the fly I'm not going to try to fix them. It'll work for our purposes. Alright, we're done with that. And then we need one more, just so once you're in there, if you don't have the key, you're never going to get out. So we have to update this other grate over here so you can get back out. And this one's going to be really simple, I promise. This is really, can you or can you not get through the grate? We're going to check for that global value here. We're going to see grate open. If it's 0, it means you can't get through. 1 means you can. That's all there is to it. So this way, if you don't go through originally through the outside, you can't get back. All it's going to say is the grate is blocked from the other side. And then on the other side, we're going to have another dialog. And it's going to be that same one we had before where it asks if you want to crawl through. Then it's going to give you an option of yes, no. And that same way I'm doing this is the same way you could set up whether you accept this quest or not. You could put a yes, no in there, and you could say no and not take the quest. But this is a tutorial. We're not going to get it that detailed. But this way you don't automatically just zap through here. Position actor. So just like we did the last time, we want the main character to pop up on this other side over here. And he's going to be facing to the right, so that's right. So if you say, yes, I do want to go through, pop, you're on the other side. Alright, so I think we've pretty much gotten everything. I think everything's set up. Alright, let's try it out and let's see where we're at. We'll try some troubleshooting and just see if everything's working like it's supposed to. So let's step into it. A little below time here. Alright, so here's a guy. You see he's holding his sword. So that part worked. He's ready for some action. Let's try to get to this gate here. You'll need a key to open, so that's working. Alright, let's try talking to this guy before the quest is given. How you doing? That's exactly what we wanted out of him. Go in here and talk to Ned and get our quest. Good sir, I need your help. So it's going to that table, it found out it's Ned, and it fired off that script. Now when I hit enter, down here on the bottom left, we should see our quest log appear if I've done everything right. Go to red and pick up the key from the rock quarry. There we go, quest log's working. It should fade out here in a second. Let's go talk to red here. Ed wants you to go to the old quarry, huh? Well, here's the key. Good luck. So when I click on it, now his is going to pop up at the bottom. So nice when everything comes together. Let's go up to the gate here. Now let's see, now that I have the key, you've unlocked the gate. Now I can get through. Now just for fun, let's break the system, well not break it, let's do that other branch up here and make sure that's working. Here's the bench. Click on it, you find an old hammer sitting on the bench. So then when I go over to this grate now, it should give me the option to pop, well not option, it should pop the pin out. You whack the pin out, it pops free. Do you want to crawl through? Here's that yes, no. So if I say no, nothing happens. Now we have that, uh-oh, is one messed up? No, there's a script I messed up. I have to go back and troubleshoot and see where I messed up. You probably caught it, but now you see he's not doing anything. He's just totally ignoring me. That's because he's on my team. Well, he's on the good team right now. So as far as he's concerned, I'm a good guy. So if I go up and talk to him, he knows what you're after and he's ready for a fight. So I'm going to whack him. Of course, my sword's way better than his. He dies at your feet, and here's a dagger. So now I have the dagger to leave his bloody corpse for the birds to eat. Let's see what he says now that I'm on my quest. Good luck. Yeah, he doesn't realize I have the dagger. Talk to Ned. My knife, well done. Can't thank you enough. Here's a little bit of gold, cha-ching, and then it says at the bottom left, the quest is complete. Now when I was saying once it says 999, they should give you a follow-up conversation, so I'll do that. I have nothing more for you. That's that 999. Means they know that quest is complete and there's nothing else going on. Good work finding the knife. There we go. And that's it. Other than my little issue up there with the zone, I'd have to go through and troubleshoot that. I'd see what I did wrong. I've never said no before. I just thought I'd do it. Of course, it's nice time to try out the no option in the tutorial. But everything else is working, other than my one little mistake there. So that's pretty good for talking and going through it. So the idea was that this is very basic, just to kind of give you some tools on how to make it. I wanted you to have the basic concept, not necessarily have to do my method, you know, the way I do my conversations or the way the quest is interactive with, but the way you step through it, the way you make your quest log, and you can see with that table you could go on to add like a quest description and all that kind of stuff. So if you go into your inventory, you could have an option in your HUD or your interface to see what the description of the quest is and perhaps the current step. So those are things in the future. That's a little bit more expansive than what I was aiming for, but I just wanted you to have a nice start and be able to go out there and start working on your own and figure out how you're going to make yours. So thanks for watching, and that's all I have. Thank you. Alright, I'm back real quick just to give you a heads up what that bug was. What it was is on the zone here. After some, I mean, it took me like 15 seconds to figure it out. Is step in here. All it was is up here on the grate variable. I just forgot to connect this over. So now, once you've unwhacked it open and you say no and you come back, now this bridge is here and it's actually going to ask you, do you wish to crawl through? So that's all it was. I didn't want to leave it incomplete. There was some other bugginess that I found, but you get the idea. Like right now, if you go through prior to getting the quest, it automatically gives you the quest. All you have to do is add another comparison branch saying, is the quest started? If it isn't, then just drop out and don't bother going in there. So that's all that was. So I just want to not leave it incomplete. That's all that bug was. Alright, thanks for watching.